Okay, I'm back. Hopefully, this one you can hear me better. you know, Let me know if you can hear me. That's before we even get started into this. So, we was discussing sovereignty, and we was at Article 15 from the Bill of Rights. So let me just give it a second or two so that everybody could come back or whatever, and we could get it back on. Yes, peace and blessings. All right. The crystals, we could just mess with the crystals for a second, like this one right here. This is so beautiful. This right here, it has been a face appearing to me. You can see it right here. You see it's a side face. This is the whole face right here. This is the head. One eye, two eye. This is the nose. This is the mouth right here. You can see the face coming through here. It forms even around the sides. It still make the whole face. You see it? That's it right there. And this face is so recognizable. It's not like it's a little boy's face or my face. I'm gonna be real. That's my face. And as you turn it, it still come back in like here. You see it here too, in the images with the hat on. He got on right here, and you see as you move it, more images come in like up here. You see, it's like a scene going on. You have to have spiritual eyes to see these. This is like I teach people to see using crystals, and this is how you will see. Zigzag Zilla, what's going on, brother? Peace and blessings. So this is all like how you get to see. As you can see, the boy is still there, same face right here, inside this circle right here. This is his body. This will be the face. If you look, it's really the hat man. This is a hat right here. It forms the hat. See, it's a big hat, and here go the face under the hat. This is the nose right here. I see that. Yes, zigzag zilla. These are spiritual crystals. All my crystals are spiritual. And then you see the hat right here on the head. Right here, you see the black face. See the nose, still same face. The face don't change. Same guy. You understand? The black horseman is who I be, and that's who I represent. And y'all will know over time as y'all get to know me. Same here. The face right there in the middle. See the little face? Boy right there. See the forehead, big ass forehead? Same thing. So all of this is there hidden, and it does it in many ways. You turn it sideways. When we're dealing with these type of things, you're talking the Godhead. It's perfect. God makes everything. Even if you used to smash this into a million pieces, and I'll demonstrate too, because I'll hold this there, because I got a whole table full of like miniature pieces, and as you can see, I'm not talking just to talk. As you can see from the whole, how I show you from, look, if you can see shadow, we're talking shadow images. Look at the eye right here. You see the bull, the celestial sacred bull, and he's on this side right here. This is his face and eyes. So you see two faces. So even if you get the small piece, look, you see more, even better. This is a chip off. You see the dark, we shadow beings, so we see shadows. So you see the dark hat right here on the man. I'm gonna hold it from this side. It's a cowboy, and he's right there. You see him, and you see another one here and another one. They start to come in as you look. These what they do. This is what make these special. You see it? You turn it sideways, and it forms a different image. You still see the same hat right there in the middle, right there, and all the consorts of our spiritual world. Because look at it right here. You see the black man and the white man, or whatever that is, Indian. You see, you get scenes. This is how seers see. It's a difference. When they came to Egypt and they couldn't understand what we was doing, and when they went to Africa and see us with these weird masks, these is what they was looking at. These is the elemental spirits that make up physical matter. They're real. Like how I tell you, subatomic particles is alive. They're real. They know through the laws of observation. So I'm just showing you how these is. Hey, Hydra, Mullah, nice to see you. Blessings. So down to the smallest one, we're going through the different sizes so you can see this is a being. All of them form beings. You see the same hat man face down here. This is two eyes. This will be the hat up here. The dark face would be the shadow. Everything we see when we're looking at these is shadow. So you look for the shadow to form the face. With eyes and mouth be the first thing you look at. Some people could see whole images, and when you personalize it, say you want to know what your child is doing, you could use the crystal and focus. When you focus, these images start making like hallucinations that change. Like right here, you see the black hat man right here, right here, and then whatever scene now is going to come up. So under meditation, these will take your eyes into other dimension to where you want to go so you can see. So it's the reflection of the light that makes it. You can see the hat man right here, the little back face, and so forth. So every angle of our perfections is a Godhead. So it's perfect from every angle. So that's where you know something is perfect. Like when I show you my drawings and my pictures, you could turn it any direction and it still come out. What's up, Michael Deline? How you doing? It's been a minute since I talked to you. So we're talking about the subject matter of sovereignty, and we brought that up. So on that note, let's continue that talk. And what we was discussing, because you have so many people that can lead you and say, hey, go to file this paperwork and get this, but you're messing with something that is smarter than you. If you wasn't, it wouldn't have put you in that situation where you're seeking out sovereignty in the first place. So it's not about having to obtain a sovereign paperwork. It's about you. Do you know how to defend yourself as a sovereign? If you did, you wouldn't have been in the situation you're in. You would have been fully conscious of it and know how to actually conduct business with your straw man. You understand? Or yourself, your physical body is an entity in its own self, and that's what gives them the laws and the right to do what they do. So on that note now, when you want to become a human or man or back to your soul self, you have to claim back yourself, your body, and you taking it from the government. They had to implement laws to give you the right to do that at some point when you wake up. So these rights is in your International Bill of Rights, and it's different from Bill of Rights. Put an International Bill of Rights, and that's where you see at number Article 15, 1 and 2, give you the power of what you need to stand on yourself so you can speak for yourself. When they ask you who give you the right to do this or where you say this from or what does this paperwork mean, you could show them that I have proof because this will give you court documents to show that I have the right to have a nationality. And you ask them, what is my nationality? They don't know, you know. So you have to give yourself and identify yourself with a nationality. Now it says, no one shall be arbitrarily deprived, this is number 2, of his nationality, nor deny the right to change your nationality. Dun, dun, dun. They giving you the clue right there. Change your nationality? You could change your nationality? So that right there give you the clue of really what you have to do. So let me just see my number 16. Minimum in a full age without any limitations due to race, nationality, or religion have the right to marry, to find a family. They are entitled to equal rights as to marriage during marriage and all its dissolution. Marriage shall be entered in only with free and full consent of the intended species. All right, so that's the only part that I would recommend you pay attention to in this article. There is other important treaties in here, like it tells you about the peace and friendship treaties that actually bind you in these articles. So let's take a quick look. Let me see. What's this right here? You see, in it, when we was doing this as Moors, you get all types of different paperwork. Like here, you see, we get travel documents. This is like a more travel documents. You understand? Now these here is like a whole nother level to this. I just want to take you through, but I'm gonna see if I got my basic paperwork for change of name. Give you the steps. I'm gonna walk you through. This is travel home. Let me take it 1 minute. 1 minute. Uh, okay. Now, Let me see. All right. Okay, this is what you would have to have then. This is the first step. This is called a declaration of nationality. Now, here go the trick to this, right? A declaration is like an affidavit. Now, the reason why let me see. Should I read this to you? I'm gonna read the basic. This is a declaration of nationality, also called a name correction, reclamation, and international proclamation. All right, now you see this right here, right? These paperwork is very important when you are trying to seek redemption. And now the terms of what this is about, right? Just the title of a Declaration of Nationality and Name Correction is actually an affidavit that don't need to be from a business place. It don't have to be from some legal place. You're the law. You write it. That's it. That's all you has to have on the paperwork that you're gonna write. A declaration of nationality and name correction. What you're writing is what's called an affidavit. This is an affidavit. Paperwork they send you is what's called an affidavit of facts. A bill is an affidavit of facts. So when you receive a bill, if you don't dispute the bill, it's a statement of fact. And so that would be a receipt or the bill. So when you write in a national name correction and all this thing, it's as simple as actually looking at all the laws you stand on, such as the Bill of Rights, and declaring it on paperwork and using it for leverage to say this is your new name. So now, I'm pretty sure the county clerk's office got declaration of name correction paperwork too now. Don't get it wrong. They're supposed to have all this such a basic county clerk's office. You just go ask for a name correction paperwork and they'll give it to you. So now with that, you get in your declaration of nationality. I wanted to go into it just a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you what mine says. I'm gonna read a little bit to you so that you understand the grounds on what you're standing on, which says, known all men and women by the present that I, Mark L, am flesh and blood, spiritual man and duty affirmed, standing squarely upon our principle of love, true peace, freedom, and justice. This possesses my offspring are free Moorish American nationality, Al Morocco, North Central South America, and Adjourning Island, anciently referred to as a Mexican, and I'm a parcel of the land of my ancient forefathers, which was the Moroccans by birth and inheritance, and Aboriginal indigenous, as well as de jure national citizen of the continent United States of America, and unalienable rights and immunity as described in the organic United States Republic Constitution. Well, it goes into the laws that those stand by, and those is all articles that we stand on. But here go the part that says, but I further know that I am now proclaiming and entering on the record for the record a legal notice is hereby published and given of my free national name to be recognized by the United States and Jamaica and the nations of the earth throughout their agents, Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United States, lawfully executed, whereby I, being previously identified by the Union State of America, the corporate state of Jamaica, under the colorable name of Damien Samuels, here and now correct and proclaim my nomen. I am my offspring. I am returning the names and titles given to me of the colonial possessor, and returning, relinquishing, and disclaiming it because it was prepared for them by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. But likewise, I am reclaiming my ancestral name, which was prepared for me earthly and divinely salvation by our forefathers, either bearing the name El Bay Day Al Ali, in like manners. My name shall be henceforth a Moorish American, one Mark L, and I am in the proper person and person surgery, now having in legal disabilities my birth right without due process of the United States society or any corporate state jurisdiction is affirmed by the free Moorish American Zodiac Constitution, Birth of Rights, and being Al Bay Day and Day, Article 2, Paragraph 3 of the United States Constitution, Article 3, Section 2, Article 5, Section 11, and 10 of the Bill of Rights, United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, the United States Rights of Indigenous People, Part 1, Article 4-5. I am not a citizen governed under naturalized or immigration codes or act, not a 14th Amendment person or a U.S. citizen, not subject to the sanctuary of colorable law of jurisdiction of the United States and its corporate monopoly of the federal, states, local, municipal government. I declare my status indigenous as a stranger to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, who voluntarily waive, rejects, and forfeit any all enfranchisement benefits. I being in proper persona seri jury is connected with the property and name. I am free of any legal disability resulting in a contract or commercial agreement being held in due course. Any evidence to contrary is hereby rebutted. And you have to fill this out now and sign it and write this as an affidavit of facts. Anybody who rebuts it, then you have a problem. You don't rebut it, it goes through and it's legal. You're doing what's called legal, and what there's lawful and legal. You're doing something legal right there. You gave up something and you're claiming something else. You made a statement of facts, which is what's called an affidavit. It's the same like saying somebody robbed you and you know they robbed you and they're walking around with your stuff. So you can't do nothing about it. So you go to court, you write this statement of fact. This person, blah, 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 robbed me. And I want $5,000 from him for robbing me. So then you file the court papers, the court attorney or the court officers serve that person, appear in court to see if they did do it. They either don't believe you did it or say they did come. Now, if say they don't believe you come, they don't believe it. The day they come to court or was summoned to go to court and you appear and they don't, they forfeit and you win automatically the $5,000. A lien will be put on their shit or their credit is going to be fucked up. But either way, you win the case. They have to pay for the case too. Now, say they do come to court and rebut it or whatever, it's whoever wins, the best argument win. But you start a dialogue back and forth with you and the person to see what remedy can be done. So now, say like in a situation like I just said, you made the statement of facts, the affidavit, and nobody rebuts it because it's a name change. Who is there to rebut it? It's a statement of facts that stand as truth, and it stays legally. So you legally changed your name and gave up your name. So now all you have to do is use your new name in the system, and you file the paperwork along with it showing your clerk stamp and seal. You're on your way to sovereignty. That's the basics of sovereignty. The rest is laws now, knowing the laws. Hopefully I have the right paperwork to show you a lot in reference to the laws that give you enough to stand on for you to understand what you have to do against these people to make yourself legal and bound. Now, with you doing the declaration of name change, you gotta have 3 witnesses. 3 witnesses gotta sign to your declaration of name change. And I could basically, if you want copies of it, and you just, I used to send out copies all over the place. This is just like a fill in the blanks with your information and file it with your county clerk's office to begin the process. This don't need no lawyer. This don't need. It's the same thing like corporate. When you fill out corporation papers, it's the same thing as when you get a record deal and they're like, oh, I'm giving you a contract from the record label. You don't need a lawyer for that. Oh, I gotta get a lawyer to sign it. No, that's how you fuck up. All right, the contract work like this. What do you want? This what you want is the contract. So you're saying, all right, I want $5,000 plus I want you to pay for all this and this and that. That's what you want. Regardless of what that paper said, you just made your contract. Now it's up to him to put that in paperwork and sign it. So when you're talking about, oh, look, and this and this and this, you're making a lot of litigation for yourself and a lot of fine. This is what I want. I don't want to hear all that. I want to see all that pre-made, prefabricated contract. Write up one for me right now. This is our contract. That's how it basically works. But you see, we don't do that. We sign with our life on everything. We sign. Whenever you give your signature, you give the person the right to whatever that's in that paper. So you always have to put authorized personnel. I mean, the right to retain your signature. So you have to write. One second. Let's show you something. Let's look at, for instance, one second. Like I said, if you want the paperwork, I want to show you something else. Let's look up on the internet because I'm doing this the basic way through the internet. Because I'm doing this the basic way through the internet. And I'm gonna Google Obama speaking on your status or seeking out international status. So I'm gonna just put in Obama, and I never did this before. O-B-O, how do you spell his name? O-B-A. Okay. One second. I'm putting in speaking on nationality. Okay. I come up with all types of stuff about him. You see more people trying to bash the man and actually, just putting up the video where he's trying to make a point. But he did a speech, because I'm looking and I'm not going to waste my time searching for you. But he did a speech saying us that we have to get our nationality together. So it's important to realize he's pointing to the peace and peace treaties and peace and blessing treaties. So once you file your actual name correction, that starts you off onto your understanding. Now, let me pull up some other paperwork that's gonna help guide you. The first thing you have to learn is the Judge Dredd law. You see, these is important things for you to stand on. The Judge Dredd law gives you the right to. Hold on, I want to make sure I say this right because I'm gonna pull up the reading stuff, and I don't want to contradict the reading material. That's why I'm taking it slow with what I'm saying. All right, let me see what I have here. One second, y'all. One minute. One minute. See, you have what's also called a judicial notice and proclamation. A judicial notice and proclamation also is part of your claiming of your nationality. I'll just give you an example of how it is because these is what we call affidavits that you write to actually um, claim your title as a Moor or any type of Indian or whatever, German, French, Chinese, whatever you want to claim. It says to all elect United States Republic officials and public servants of federal, state, city, and municipal government, personal and corporate entities concerning the Constitution and all statutory and civil law codes of the land known all men by these presents. Upon my inherited noble and upon my private aboriginal indigenous proper persona and status, commercial liability, I, Mark L., being duly affirmed under consanguine unity, pledge my national political and spiritual allegiance to my Mobite Moorish nation, being the archaic aboriginal indigenous of Amexem, that's America, standing squarely upon my oath to the 5 points of life, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, do squarely affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and having knowledge and firmly established belief upon the historical, lawful, and adjudicated facts contained herein, being content in my own proper persona to assist this affirmative, to assist this affidavit upon which I place my signature and seal, whereas I state, proclaim, and declare the following to be true, correct, certain, and complete, not with misleading, supreme, and not to intend to be presented for any misrepresentation of color or improper use or of purpose to wit. that I, Mark L., am a noble of the Almarak Empire, North America, in proper persona, my own proper self, being Moorish American, a descendant of the American Mobile Moors by birthright, free hold, progenitor and inheritance, being Aboriginal indigenous to the land of Mexican territory of ancient Mobile Moorish foremothers and fathers, to wit, the Almarak America continent, all of the land of the Moors were being North America, South America, Central America, including the adjoining islands, have acknowledged, claim, and possess my said inheritance and progenitor, the free whole stature thereto, all unalienable and subjective rights to be, to enjoy, and to act distinct in any aboriginal custom and culture, and determining my own political and social economic status of the state, turning my heart and back to my ancient mothers and fathers, Moors by divine nature, right. Being Moorish American, we have and possess the internationally recognized rights to determine our own status of state, absent of threat, coercion, or acquaintance to a color of law, a color of office, not to be subject to an imposed color of authority. Moorish American Moors have proclaimed and possess the unalienable substantive rights and birthright inheritance to our Almarak names and nationality by nature's law, divine law, projector, and by the recognized laws of the nations of the earth internationally. Being the true ancient aboriginal indigenous of the land of America North, being the headland of the Moroccan Empire, Moors, Murs, spelled M-U-U-R-L, the freeholders by birth, inheritance, and progenitor status, and have claimed and possessed the rights travel upon the public roadways, byways, and highways of our continental United States, absent of foreign color or imposed exercise taxation, constructs invented by the racketeering states legislated to abridge and steal rights belonging to natural peoples. These subjective these substantive rights are supported by and asserted by the royal laws, Moorish law, Muslim law, the law of the great place, the law of nature, the divine law and God's law, the law of nations, the free Moorish Great Seal Zodiac Constitution, and affirmed by Article 5 and 6 of the Constitution Covenant of 1774 and 1781 AD, as lawfully adopted by the United States Republic, established in its republican form of government. Said Constitution established the people's supreme law of the land to secure the right of the people and to keep the government bound in check by official oath and by official bound. Down from the ancient ones, our progenitors come as the supreme law of the land. Um, this goes on and on, but like I said, these is all affidavits. These affidavits is what you take to court with your signature on it, and you file them at your county clerk's office. Anybody could write them, and these you can see is the back part where the signature goes, and you have your witnesses. This does not need no person to be like HRX, H&R Block tax man doing your taxes. I could charge thousands for this and catch you all day by just, that doesn't even make no sense. And to say it's not lawful, that's the most craziest thing you could hear, because anything you want you could do if you know how to declare it as an affidavit of facts. Once it becomes an affidavit of facts, is what you need. So what you would need now is to know, you could go to a real lawyer if you want, and a real lawyer tell you what paperwork would you need to have legally to make it legal, which I'm pretty sure, like I said, your county clerk's office has. But in general, you just have to have these stated on record. Once they're stated on record, it's legal. That's it. And your sovereignty is upheld. Now, there is a second part to the sovereignty that I want to get the paperwork for, and that is now filing the 1099 and the 1040 with the IRS. This is claiming back your straw man. That's the last part you have to do. Claim back your straw man through the IRS. Because like I said, your name is being traded on the stock market daily, and you don't know that. That's how your straw man is worth billions, maybe, no, millions, maybe billions of dollars. So it's being used daily. Now, when you file the 1099, I think it's the 1040 with IRS, you claim back the straw man and it don't be used no more in the stock market. Nobody will touch your name no more. So that's the last part. But I got the paperwork to literally give it to you in detail. If I give me 1 second, let me check something. Let me play my beat while this is going on. Give y'all a quick little. Give y'all some shit. Gonna go through some of this. It's a lot of information. So y'all can see that it's not playing. Look, this is yo. I'm a type of person that keep all the paperwork so that you know we got everything. So I'm gonna try to explain everything. After I explain it to you, you should do everything yourself. You wouldn't need nobody to do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's all legal. You know? Yeah, I got comedic. Look at this. This is cosmology, the comedic shit. This is like some old ancient writing and shit. But it's deep. Oh yeah, y'all got some information now. Look at this. This is all good information. I'm gonna put y'all up on some good information here. It's explaining to all the laws that's going on, all the stuff you have to file. It's all here. I found it. So let me sort through this right now. I wanted to go. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for right here. I'm gonna read to y'all a story. The story is gonna help change your life. All right. This is very old. This is like secret documents right here. Stuff y'all don't even see no more in life. It's not on the internet. They took this off if you were to look at it. This is all secret paperwork right here. Baby, let me tell you, man. Life is crazy. I see why Snowden had to get out and dodge, man. You know, it's out here. Right? This is it right here. We're gonna read. You could. I think this is still on the internet, but they altered it and it's very hard. You can look this up right now and get this in real time. It's called The Nature of a Remedy. If you get that name, it's one of a kind. It says, in a totality corrupt judicial system, in a totally corrupt judicial system. But this is gonna make you have understanding of everything. So I'm gonna read it to you. So just listen, and here we go. What is the purpose of this white paper? Issue Allah, Krista. That's what's up. What's up? All right, let's get into this. What is the purpose of this white paper? In this simplistic form, it is addressed the questioning that is asked by almost every so-called free man and inmate who has ever been railroaded by a totally corrupted so-called judicial system. For the individual who knows they have actually committed crimes against their fellow men, the outrage of being incarcerated is surely subdued by the self-admission of guilt and expectation of punishment of court. So it is truly outraged individual railroad by the system who will be the most motivated to make the connection, the concentrated effort to understand the information presented here and its purpose and its remedy. Okay, it says, what is the system? Without a fundamental understanding of what the system actually is and some understanding of how it gets that way, There is virtually no possible of understanding or correctly implementing a remedy. The subject of what the system actually is, as opposed to what the system appears to be, could be easily encompassed in a 1,000-page book, a history book explaining the events of the past that led up to the present state of the system. Such books were in our possession. Would you make the effort to digest the information? And even more important, how could you know it if it was true, or if it just was a bunch of half-naked theories that fall apart upon serious examination by objective analysis? Obviously, this extreme brief paper will make no attempts to prove anything stated herein. Everything stated within regarding the system will of necessarily be simply asserted as facts, firmly established and irrefutable, yet facts that will probably contradict everything you thought you understood about the system. You will either have to face up to the facts that you have been deceived and lied to all your life about almost everything you think you know, of what you remain a victim to the global financial prison that the entire world is now a part of, also referred to as the system, for, in quotes that is. For those of you, the vast majority of humanity who believes that such an evil global system of grand deception and enslavement cannot possibly exist, the mere suggestion of this sounds like the utterance of those conspiracy nuts, and usually dismissed since I have no intention of communicating with hopelessly brain dead masses of on these matters. It goes against my nature to be simply making assertions that are not backed up with rigorous proof, but I am necessarily going to have to just move forward and assert the facts as what I meant by this system. The system consists of all the institutions that man has created to organize, control, sustain itself, in particular government, religion, and commercials. No, government, religion, and commerce. There are no sharp distinctions between these three institutional entities, and in fact are all so hopelessly intertwined that it will refer to get into the fundamental facts. It says, fact one: the system today's world on a global world basis is now completely domineering devil. This is not some mystical superstition revealing the dark forces as absolute for real, are extremely indigenous in the science of controlling the people's thinking and control all governments of men, and vast overwhelming majority of religions, in particular all of the so-called Christendom, not true Christianity. He got that in parentheses. Represented by the herald upon beasts in Revelation scriptures. And for our analysis, the most important realization is that the dark forces totally control all the financial, economical system, in particular banking, and the principal control level point of this commercial game, and the resulting enslavement of all of mankind. This is simple, if not massive, confirmation that one indeed seems to be now well approached the final battle of righteousness, what it says, over Satan's pure evil. Fact two: probably as much as a little of 80% of American people still believe that man's problems can be solved by political actions, voting, having an informed opinion on political matters. They accept what they hear on the media and believe the authority can be trusted. Less than 10% of this group will either realize how profound deceived they have been. Fact three: the world and all its resources, its most important being the human slave resource, are fact controlled by extremely wealthy and powerful families who ingeniously exert strategies have become the foundation of the world global economic slavery throughout the creation of fictional indebtedness by imprisonment of centralized banking to and freedom. Secret societies such as the Illuminati or Luciferian Freemasonry, 33 levels and above, and others are keepers of arcanic knowledge that guarantees the keeping of ordinary people political and economical and spiritual bondage. Major breakthroughs in the science such as physics, medicine, engineering, etc., have long been consecutively suppressed by these groups for purpose of maintaining plunder and control of the unthinking masses. Fact 5. The original de jure Republican form of governmental system to us by our founding fathers, referred to as the United States of America, has been replaced and stealth and deception with a private, foreign, or owned, and damn, these still start fading. Operational for profit, actually plunderer, de jure corporate democracy, not a republic, an actual municipal corporation of the District of Columbia or the United States, being, and then they have it in capital letters. The other one was just regular. Being incorporated in England, here in England, our former enemy in 1878. The state of Ohio, or any state of any state, if that's the word, he just got it in quote. When you say the word any state of, refer not from the United States of America, but are incorporated no physical boundaries defined in their constitution, municipal corporate instruction instrumentally of the United States, fundamentally established under the Buck Act of 1940. These de jure facto government impersonators have no actual lawful authorities over any inhabitants of the several states of the United, being ultra-virus and no TIEL to the corporate charter. They are of pure form of total fraud and deception against the people. Fact 7. All the state courts found within the state of Ohio or any state of being brought in existence under the fundamental authority of state of I can't read that word, have never had its lawful authority over the inhabitants, only over the fictitious they create, and the trustee of their fictitious, never the sovereign unless tricked into being damn, these words is erased out, so it's hard to see them. That's why I'm having trouble. It's fading out a lot. Um, Tricked into being a co-conspirator, you could say. Some of the words is missing, so I'm gonna be skipping words here because this is a faded article, and I'm already seeing that it's words that I just have to wing it to figure out what it says. So it starts off and it goes inhabitants in the bogus, bogus courts. One second. I hope y'all understanding this so far. A fictional let me see something. Cause this is getting mad funny. 1 minute. 1 second. Thought I had something around here. Alright, let's get back to this. I don't see them. Let me see if I can continue this. Alright. So it says, in fact, no, let me back it up. A fictional constructive trust, your name spelled in capitalization. In fact, another federal instrumental is created under fraud to deceive inhabitants into believing he is subject to the private copyright statutory whims of the de facto corporate government imposter. Fact 9. Also so-called judges who in fact are in the business of enforcing private corporate statutes and codes, not judicial officers, but rather mere executive administrators of a private for-profit plundering municipal corporation, have absolutely no legal lawful authority over sovereign inhabitants. So you see, they don't have no control over us, to be honest with you. You know? Um, Let me put this down a little lower so that we could see, because I'm going to be ducking down some, I don't want to. All right, now it says, Fact 10: the United States and its instruments, such as the states of the British of Columbia, create constructive trust names after inhabitants of the land, names spelled in all capital letters in order to deprive the lawful inhabitant of his true identity and subjective rights are fraudulently made, the inhabitant liable of the debts and obligation of the United States and its instruments. Fact 11: the United States and its instruments, such as the United States Republic of, no, I can't read that. No, it looked like the state of Arizona now. Never recognized lawful inhabitants of the land and only recognized the other instrumentalities. The United States, this is fact 12. The United States district courts are constituted in the several states a party of constitution are completely outlawed, illegitimate and constitutionally unauthorized private courts impersonating the true Article 3 courts referred to as the District Court of the United States, which no longer exists in anywhere and cannot be exhalated into existence by any known means. Fact 13: the so-called Supreme Court of the United States is currently not functioning as an Article 3 constitutionally authorized court, but rather only as a high admiralty court. They consistently assert no comment when confronted with the simple question, are you the one Supreme Court described in Article 3 of the Constitution of the United States of America? Do you wonder why? Then it says fact 14. The corporate de facto democracy, not the de jure Republic United States of America, went into bankruptcy in 1933, created a legal vacuum, the judicial system becoming most corrupt legal system in the world without peer and identification. Recent candidates for nomination for the Supreme Courts of the United States, Eve Jones, appellate judge, publicly stated that American legal system is corrupt almost beyond all recognition. 13. Where we at now? 15. All so-called crimes are fact strictly a commercial matter of stated in 27 CFR 2711 of CFR, which is logged as federal regulations. It says fact 16. Ever since June 5th, 1933, because of the bankruptcy of the United States, when House Joint Resolution 192 was unanimously passed, becoming publicly of the economic system are legal, lawful, and necessary prepaid. Everything must be paid for by the government to pollute as charges of high treason against Congress. Secretary of Treasury Board of Government of Federal Reserve Bank and the capital of the currency and the control of the currency. This is an history, and this is an intake up. What can we conclude from this? Then it goes on into the pack. It says, now these particular assertions being stated in facts, it states the following conclusion can be affirmed. Pursuing any remedy with the so-called courts is the probabilical barking up the wrong tree, since the so-called courts have immense financial incentive, much as $10,000 per, what is it? Per, can't read that word, to convict and any and every, same word, are either considered guilty in total inclusion that pretend courts only rake the big bucks upon secure conviction at all costs or comprise against any type of lucrative bribes from the victims. So this right here just gives you like what's going on. But I wanted to now give you the remedy for your straw man. But if you want this, I could send you this. It goes on. It's 2 pages. But like I said, it's so little, and it's hard to read for me. You know, you read it all, but this is like a whole article on this, 2 pages. Now with it, right? It gives you the remedy, the 1040. Let me give you the facts on real quick. Prison bonds, so you know what prison bonds is about. It says, in fact, there are exist other bonds issued in cases which are called pineal bonds, constitute of a series of 3 or 6 bonds, all having OMB numbers. That's what it is. I said OBM. I had it backwards. OMB numbers, and in these bonds, not shown in the example, which are all created behind your back without your knowledge or permission, you receive their commercial energy from the living soul sovereignty. It is our understanding that those bonds are valued at 2 million, where the count is the number of counts in the true bill in indictment and or on the counts of conviction. The first 3 bonds are the bid bonds, SF24, performance bond, SF25, and the payment bond, SF25A. The next 3 bonds are the same OMB numbers, are the Miller Act bonds, SF273, SF274, SF275, which may not apply to create case as opposed to a federal, state case as opposed to a federal case. Each bond issued would constitute a so-called whole, so the total sum of all the pineal bonds could be 3 or 6 times 2 million times the amount of its cost. All these bonds are, to me, eligible issues. If you were all listening, these are 1099 0110 showing up on line 21 and 64 of the federal tax form 1040 will be considerably large. For simplicity of example, they are not included only the appearance bond, but can most certainly be included also. The description of these bonds will be all OMB numbers. Um, State of my state versus John Quinn, whatever. In addition to these related bonds, one can also include such eligible issues as traffic tickets, commercial bills, or any sort tax bills, court judgments. In fact, any and all commercial presentments, whether issued to you or by you, remember, all the products of the economic system are prepaid by the virtue of the public policy and public law, PL 730-10, arising out of the necessity of their no longer existing constitutionally authorized money to pay as the law with. So that's what we're paying with. He said once they took away our gold silver backing of the currency that is mandated by our organic constitution in Article 1, Section 10, making it possible to pay at law for anything, the party government then seized the gold must under public policy pay all the bills for us. It is our very inalienable rights to pay the law as a result of the executive order seizing gold in 1933 that give us the ability of get to see that the reason why they have us as franchise and they have to take care of us and feed y'all and clothe y'all and give y'all health care and welfare is because they took your money, they took your gold, they took everything. So by law, they have the right to take care of y'all because y'all is in they took care of everything. So that's what it's about. It's all written in here. So through these forms, the 1040 and the 1099, like I said, I think they're in here too. If you want to see how they look, I'm gonna show you them. I think he printed them. This is it right here, as a matter of fact. I think this would be a 1099 form up here. See how it looks? This will be a 1099 form. Y'all can screenshot it and look for yourselves or whatever. Back the video up. Now in here, there's people who actually file for their own personal sovereignty, and I'm gonna show you these real party creditors that I was talking about. Let me see. Now, as we was talking, you see, when you become a national citizen, you get these type of things. Like you see, this says stop paying taxes. These is people who actually file the paperwork for you to have you sovereign. This says avoid land regulations and stop paying property taxes legally. Guarantee process with money back for information. They tell you all this now. It's the same process for everybody. As far as learning these type of laws, this is what will get you your redemption. And over here, you even see for secured party creditor right here, you could apply for the card, what's called a secure party creditor or whatever it's called. Let me read it to you real quick. Get your secure party creditor. Every day the secure party creditor is involved in commercials outside the front door. There is a word, a buzz in that commercial and that in the world. There are only debtors and creditors. In your travel and transaction, it may be necessary to identify yourself as a secure party creditor in traffic stops to clerks to the courts in transactions to exempt the sale tax or a purchase or in any other manner to identify your SPC status. SPC status. So you need to know that. So all of this is real. I'm not saying nothing that you can't attain, but it's legal ways you have to go about it, and you have to know the law to stand on it. So, you wanting this is great to want it, but now you have to take the proper procedure to know the laws that you stand on with it. All right, so let me see this lawgiver. Securing your freedom. This one here, we're going to run through this real quick. It says introduction. This research report is provided as teaching ministry for good and lawful mores according to the commandments of the Lord and Savior Yahshua the Christ. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God has chosen. All right, let me see where we get to this information. Okay, this is the information you need as far as lawgiver. Okay, commerce, which is Latin, which says commercium, in its simplest society, labor, transportation, intelligence, care, and various mediums of exchange became principles which were observed in contracting it. Commerce is what you do with yourself as far as when you're outside and you're doing business. So you have to see yourself as a business, not instead of seeing yourself as a human being. And you will see you carry yourself and conduct yourself more as far as doing commerce and claiming back your straw man. So background, the beginning. Let me see. Let me give you a quick breakdown. Let me see. Um, okay, it look like this might be apply. All right. Okay. A legal affidavit. That's where we're gonna pick up at. Where we at? It starts off here with some facts that is giving you the background of how we are able to stand on these laws. Okay. I'm gonna give it to you from a spiritual point of view because that's how it's in here, and I do believe that's how I learned it. And so I'm gonna take you into it real quick now. Um, Let's read number one. A workman is always worthy of his hire. This is perhaps the most universal law of mankind. Every society on the earth who has denied the maxim of law has suffered within destruction by the masses. Useless labor and without fruits is not the effort of law. So in law, you have to pay a person. It says all men are considered equal under law. While this may not be practiced throughout the world, the unearthly truth of this standard has caused great empires to fall and destroy many kings and monarchs. Number three, in all interchangeable truth is sovereign and the supreme rule. Interchangeable of all kinds, from the good to the intellect, between men and commercial in all commerce the ador and supreme rule of truth. So these is telling you like your basics for you to stand on. Then it says truth can only be expressed in the form of legal affidavit. And this is where everything starts now. When you're gonna do your legal paperwork and you're saying truth, you have to be able to know what an affidavit is. And so an affidavit now is what we're going to go into. A legal affidavit is undisputed truth unless counted claim or rebuttal has been made. Since an affidavit is a sworn and pledge by faith, it is presumed to be absolutely true unless another sworn claim counters this, and that's a rebuttal. Now, an undisputed affidavit or claim becomes final judgment. It's important to know that because when you put up these motions, that's how you will know that you get through because it becomes a final motion. So, on that note, let me break it down because I don't want to kill y'all with boredom with this sovereignty stuff. But to be honest, you have to learn the law and the paperwork to file it. And by you taking the time out to study these paperwork, you file it yourself and you put in your own claim yourself and you stand on it yourself. You defend yourself. And by you being able to defend yourself, that's how you're able to actually get yourself into your sovereignty because like I said, you have to know the laws that come along with it. All right, now I want to go into another category real quick. So I'm going to stop this slide, but I'm coming right back on and we're going to discuss what I really came to discuss. That sovereignty was for, somebody else. But we're going to discuss now energy exchange. I'll be right back. Peace and blessings.